जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय 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 जय राम ओम श्री राम जय 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 राम ओम श्री राम जय राम 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 जय जय
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. 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 Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody.
Hari Om Pranam.
Where are we now? In area? In every chapter, probably this is being highlighted. Attachment or non-attachment. In fourth chapter, in the 10th sloka, Vitaraga Bhayakrodha Manmaya Mamupashritaha Bahavo Jnana Tapasa Putamat Bhava Mahagataha. There also first he starts freedom from attachment. Freedom from attachment, fear and anger. Absorbed in me, taking refuge in me. Purified by the fire of knowledge, many have attained to my being. So, freedom from attachment, fear and anger. These three have been mentioned. Raga, Bhaya and Krodha. Uncertainty, Here is a very simple Sanskrit with profound meaning, compressed in few words. The last line says, Bahavo, Jnana tapasa, Madbhavam agata. Many have achieved oneness with me. Earlier he had said, those who realize me truly as the divine incarnation, they come unto me. Now he repeats it. Many have achieved this spiritual realization. It is not something new. All through the ages, many people have striven and achieved this spiritual realization. Bahavo madbhavam agataha. That is the main framework of the verse. Many have come unto me and become one with me. Not one, not two, but many. It is a tremendous tradition of spiritual growth. It's a tremendous tradition of spiritual growth, development and realization. How did they achieve it? That is the statement in the rest of the verse. And the statement has a profound meaning in our everyday life all over the world. Three things they overcame: Raga, Bhaya and Krodha. Vita means without. So without Raga, Bhaya, Krodha. Raga is sensory attachment. Bhaya is fear, Krodha is anger. Three emotions, unrestrained, which are against the moral and spiritual life of humanity. Mind you, Vedanta does not consider even fear as a friend of moral and spiritual life. Fear is an inhibitor of high action. To survive as a human being, we need ordinary small fears. But beyond that, fear is a negative. Trembling due to the fear of God, it has no moral value. According to Vedanta, fear makes you moral because of external pressure. Just like the policeman's baton makes you behave the right way on the road. You are not moral thereby. You are made moral by external force. So fear has nothing to do with moral and spiritual life. Vedanta is insistent on it. Jnana tapasa puta. Spiritual knowledge is given the characteristic of tapas, which literally means austerity, austerity of knowledge. The greatest tapas is mental. Purifying the personality through the tapas. Mind being tapas. That is called jnana tapasa. Suppose a child goes to school, he or she starts jnana tapasa, he or she has to study a book, try to understand it, try to reproduce it in an essay. All this is jnana tapasa. It's a hard job. You are training the mind thereby. So that is one aspect of jnana tapasa. The whole of secular education was treated in India as jnana tapasa. Knowledge does not come straight for you. You cannot just swallow knowledge. You have to work hard for it. When tapas goes away from education, education becomes cheap, very cheap. And much of education all over the world today is treated as cheap by great thinkers. In our country, it is the worst. The mind does not play any part. Jnana tapas has been taken away completely from education. The Gita will say that human mind must be raised to the level of knowledge seeking. The human mind and what is learned must be digested, must be assimilated. All that is tapas. A very hard job. You hear a lecture from a teacher, then reproduce it in an essay, and then the teacher examines it, finds that you have done well. How much of mental tapas you have to go through to do this? That tapas is now almost gone. Another aspect of jnana tapas is still more important. Emotions of anger, lustful tendencies, hatred, fear, all these have to be burnt in the fire of knowledge. That tapas is supreme. That is what makes us for high character. And therefore the sloka says, Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha. Those who have overcome Raga, Bhaya and Krodha, attachment, fear and anger, Manmaya, and have become filled with me, Mam Upashritaha, have become devoted to me. They have known that the divine reality is their own self. He is the self of all. Their mind is drawn to that great reality. Without tapas, the three emotions of attachment, anger and fear cannot happen. We take crude oil from the earth, refine it, produce beautiful and useful petroleum products. So this human mind and the body have to become a refinery, a psychological refinery. Take all these emotions and just refine them. Out of this refining process, what comes out? All ethic and humanistic values, love, compassion, fearlessness, spirit of service. Vedanta proclaims that the source of all values is infinite and ever pure, ever free Atman in the depth of the body-mind complex. Vedanta also holds that the science of values is the link between physical sciences and the science of spirituality. So the message to all of us is, when we are talking about attachment, unless and until we place a higher ideal before us, which is the product of this jnana tapas, probably that would be that is why Papa wrote that, you first go to the origin of your and the world. That inquiry will ultimately land. How much time it takes, we don't know. But when we are earnest about it, it might help us to free ourselves from any bondage. So jnana tapas, that means going deeper within. Contemplation, reflection, meditation, the inquiring mind, the probing nature of the mind. For simple bhakti, nothing is needed. Because then the attachment also will not come, Everything is God's. We are all neither in jnana path nor in bhakti path, We have something from bhakti path, something from jnana path. That is why we are struggling. When Purandradas and his missus and children were walking, leaving everything, the missus saw a coin on the road. So she went, in order that he doesn't see it, she immediately went and tried to cover it with the mud. So Purandradas asked, "What did you do?" She told the truth. Probably it might attract you to your old vasanas. So he said, It has already gone, but in you it is still there. That is why you are able to see that. To him, though it was there, he was not. Because the detachment has come to that level where all these sensory objects have no role to play. So that type of bhakta is different, Nothing can distract them from God. So this attachment, thinking about attachment, discussing about attachment, going deep, it is not at all necessary in real bhakti. Because we have already shifted our priority to him. So for the lesser forms of creation, that person will not have any attraction. In our case, that is why Gita is addressed to us. We are all subject to so many exposures. Neither are we in a position to surrender ourselves totally to him, though intellectually we may know all these things. So this Jnana Tapas is required for all of us. That's why Papa said probably that you go to your own source and the source of the world. Then we will reach him, Where bhakti takes us, there this will also take us. In other words, suppose we keep on somehow hammering that make me aware of thy presence. We may be able to get rid of all this. So let us all try how to intensify this devotion to him. In the midst of all this, we cannot run away from any field. Attachment pulls us away from him. We cannot apply any force. It is of no use. Just now, Jagannath Swami telling nowadays when you get into a vehicle, in Kerala they are very strict from yesterday or day for yesterday. They will take the photograph and you will be charged 1,000 rupees or something like that. So you have to put the belt. You are putting the belt not out of anything, only because the police should not charge you, Our adherence is not because of anything. Not because we are convinced that the belt protects me when an accident comes. So any pressure from outside will not enable us to detach ourselves. The inner craving will be there always. And so long as that inner craving is there, our move to aware of his presence will not become a reality. This much is clear now when we go through this stanza. Think about it. Anything else? Anything else strikes to anybody? On attachment?
Does detachment have to come out of dislike? Detachment has to come out of dislike?
Out of dislike, detachment.
No. Real detachment comes only when we lose our interest in it. When we place on a higher ideal, when our center of interest gets shifted to a higher ideal, these things fade into insignificance. Today we dislike, tomorrow again we may like, Dislike is not that. Dispassion is, that would be a better word. Once upon a time I was interested. Now I don't find it is charming, it is interesting. Because I have grown up. When Papa was passing through that stressful period, when the friend came forward and said that he would clear the liabilities and he would handle the finance matters, you just be there on the production side. Naturally, if Papa was really attached to the profession, attached to the everything, he would have readily said yes. Because the immediate problem has been solved. Creditors were shouting and even for his existence he was finding it extremely difficult. He cannot close the shop. He cannot run the shop. At that time somebody comes and says, I will take over the liabilities, clear all liabilities. I will handle administration and finance, you handle production. Vittal Rao could have continued, no? If you and I were in Vittal Rao's position, we would have continued, taking it as a great blessing who has saved me from a big catastrophe. But he was already convinced that these are all transitory. He wants something higher, abiding peace. A peace which when I get it will never get disturbed. That serenity. So when that got prioritized, all other things became insignificant for him. Though we can say it is detachment, it is not detachment, non-attachment, He was not interested, disinterested. That example, suppose we keep on thinking about it and then tally with our own experience, we will find. We would have immediately compromised, We only want just freedom from the tense situation. We will never think God has lifted us from suffering so that we will be able to go towards Him. We will never think that. We will be immediately satisfied with that and carry on with the same thing. Again get into attachment. So we keep praying that you please somehow enable me to prioritize your remembrance in my heart. Please. Because rest of the things, they come and go for some time. And one thing also we used to feel that such a dispassion had come to Vittal Rao and he left everything and then came back God made him not to lead a life of a mendicant. God made him to again he was instrumental in setting up this ashram. And an ashram means lot of bondages are there, but at the same time remain free from bondage. So is it because you and I have to sit here, or many thousands of people should get inspired by his life and teachings, that Papa was made to go through this and then come back to the Vyavaharik. Something we have to do some research, manana. First he stripped him of everything. And he ensured that the detachment is becoming perfect. The moment that became perfect, that means like a lotus leaf, though in the water it does not get drenched in the water. So to having made him to go through that, then he was again prompted to come back. And when somebody suggested that these 4 acres of land, why should you go here and there? He was made to say yes. And the whole thing started in 1931, a very big Vyavahar. The family became so big. And an institution means you need so many things. So we were thinking yesterday this aspect also. A 100% Vairagi who had left everything, Aniketa Stiramadi, who was moving from place to place with nothing to fall back upon excepting God, and finally his brother was prompted to set up a small kutia in Kasaragod and compelled him to stay there. Even when he was staying, he was not accepting anything except the food that was sent to him. Somewhere we read, somebody sent some MO was returned. He did not touch money. Such a person. When Ram felt that he is now fit to take any Vyavahar, he made an instrumental cause, Mataji to join, and then somebody would not agree that a lady is staying in the ashram. So some gadabada took place, he had to leave that place. He could have just gone, Mataji prevented, and that all ultimately resulted in setting up this Anandashram in 1931. Here also he was not attached to anything. Puja Swamiji used to share with us one experience that one day the ration had to be bought. On those days, ashram was fully depending upon the ration. Rice has to come from the ration shop. So we need a lot of quantity, so many sadhus, so many people will come and eat. So Mataji gave instruction to somebody to tell the local ration shop wala, whatever surplus he has, he can direct it to ashram, ashram will take it. So the day, in a week or 10 days, I don't know, there is a last day to draw the ration for that week. So Swamiji was coming from his room to bhajan hall. Papa was coming out as usual with his walking stick, with that blissful face. When he reached there, Swamiji was coming. So he asked, "Yes, Sachidanand, what is the matter?" "There is a problem, Papa." "What problem?" "We need 100 rupees." "For what?" "To buy ration. Today is the last day or tomorrow is the last day." Even at that time, "Oh, what is your cash balance?" 2 rupees. "Oh, very good. You have got 2 rupees." And he was standing there. Suddenly a young man runs from the roads. On those days, if you see the old album, you will find from our gate, we can see the road. Nothing else in between. So somebody started running towards ashram, climbed the steps. When Swamiji was talking, he ran and prostrated before Papa, asked him, "Where are you from?" Then he said, "Some place nearby. I've been wanting to have your darshan, but every time I couldn't. But when I saw from the road you were standing here, I thought today I can have your darshan." Okay, and having come here, go inside, spend some time." No, I have no time." Again prostrated, left a cover and then left. Papa was standing there. Swamiji took the cover. It contained 100 rupees. If he was though he was in Vyavahar, like an ashram, he was not touched by the bondage, God will take care if he wants to take care. The last line in the board, No, last line outside. Last line in the outside board. The Lord is our on 15th May 1931 at the inaugural speech, he says, "Lord is our help and refuge." So it was not merely a statement. Subservience total. Total means even 150%, not 100%. So the message comes to us that a total vairagya, when it comes, even if we come back to the Vyavahara, from Vyavahara we go to a stage where the detachment takes place totally, and then after getting it stabilized, when we come back and be in the Vyavahara, we will not be disturbed. Because subservience to the Lord, reliance on the Lord becomes total. Detachment, absolute detachment. So now we can say, we don't know, we have to again think about it. That is one of the prerequisites, or probably the main prerequisite to reach that stage is non-attachment. So non-attachment does not necessarily mean a total cessation of our activities from the Vyavaharic field. He came back to the Vyavahara, Mataji was very much with Vyavahara, but it did not touch her. It did not touch him. The people who are involved in seva here should take note of this. You are in Vyavahara, but Vyavahara does not touch us. Insulating ourselves from or becoming impervious So before starting an organization, the person who is prompted, if he goes through all these things, it will not be treated as vyavahar for him. To us, it's a vyavahar. It is an outer activity. To him, it is not. It is a field given to him by God, and God takes care of it. We don't have to break our head for running the organization. If God wants, He will make it to continue. Otherwise, that's also okay. That will take away the attachment from us, We people who have come late, after so many years of starting this, when we go through it, then only we try to understand how does it. Normally we have heard, unless you have some income generating, how something should be there, For anything and everything we have to buy here. So naturally, if this attachment to the sensory objects prevail upon us, we will be calculating on those lines. But here there is nothing now, absolutely nothing. They are solid foundation. So it all owes to non-attachment. Not 12 years back, once we were having our usual trust meeting. So well-wishers, some invitees were also there. So they were thinking in terms of the current management policy. So they said, okay, in the next 4 or 5 years, suppose there will be increase, how are we doing this? So who has got any idea now? I kept mum. There is no answer for that. They are viewing it because they are all running a big company, so naturally they will do this planning, planning for next year, expansion for next year, planning for next year, expansion for next year. Here no such things is happening. Then suddenly he looked at us. He said, we don't know, but it is being run, that much we know. How it is being run, then why should we worry? Because he takes care of it. So if it has to expand, he will make it expand. If he doesn't want to expand, okay. Tomorrow if he says, okay, you can all go and take bhiksha, okay. That stage should come to us. Then he said, all these 60, 70 years, we were not running on these lines. So from all these we can deduce, we can infer that if there is non-attachment initially and we become thoroughly get concretized in it, our reliance on God becomes total and full. That is what Papa is telling us by establishing this ashram and running it for the past 92 years. This May 15th become the 92nd year. Is that clear? Yeah. A person who said when he was in Kasaragod district that he will not accept anything, excepting the food that was sent by his brother, Barsa. Such a person was made to set up an ashram. where all Vyavaharik dealings are necessary. Goshala is there, Bhojanshala is there, medical need is there, everything is needed, accounts is there, statutory requirements are there. Here also all those activities are going on. But the tension or stress of running the organization is not felt. So we should know that the non-attachment is the base for reaching such a state. So we can say, I don't know, all of us have to do some thinking. This is how he makes us to bring it out. Non-attachment firmly rooted paves the way for total reliance, 150% reliance on God and God alone. And when we look at Mataji, we get clear picture, no? She was buying small sites, building houses and giving to the homeless. She was not bothered about the financial encumbrance or commitment or bondage. Somebody comes and clears it. She keeps on doing it, anything. She is not bothered about anything. You have to keep something for ashram. That never comes to her. She was a housewife. She knows all these things. Never asked anybody for anything. Only to give somebody, she would have asked somebody to give. In her case, it is taking from one child to giving it to another child. So, non-attachment is the base. Papa is now making it very, very clear to us. You can be in the Vyavahar. You don't have to run away from the Vyavahar. But you must pray to God to prepare yourself so that you will not be affected by the Vyavaharik impacts. So if we are in a position to develop non-attachment successfully, then that will be the anchor sheet. Any sort of stressful period, even while we are in the labeled Vyavaharik activities. So whether it is family, profession or social life, if we can develop this by His grace, by praying to Him, by pleading to Him, by appealing to Him, by taking to this Jnana Tapas, and if He is kind enough to bestow us with that kind of non-attachment, then we become fit enough to handle any activity. Patmapatra Vibhambasa. So like the lotus leaf, though in the water, does not get affected by the water. Though we are in the Vyavahar, we will not be affected by the Vyavaharik bondage. That is the message for people like us who are in daily life from Bhagavad Gita. So non-attachment as a special place in our sadhana. Non-attachment to name, form, power, position, wealth. Anything else? This has been brought out by one in Sloka, Hitopadesha. We have many a time we have shared this, but again we remember this now. Vanebi dosha prabhavanti raginam griheshu sarvendriya nigrahastavaha agustide karmaniya pravartade nivritta ragasya griham tapovanam. You want to leave this home and society and go to Tapovanam, a forest for tapas, to achieve your spiritual development? No. You can convert your home itself into a Tapovanam. How? Those who have sensory attachments in the mind, even if they leave the home and go to the forest, they will have great trouble there. That is because the mind also is going with them. They have left behind only the worldly life at the body level, but the mind is full of raga or attachments. Therefore, he or she cannot get the fruit of that renunciation. To live in a household with one sensory system well disciplined is real tapas. So those who are engaged in blameless deeds in society and one whose attachment has been conquered, his or her own home becomes a tapovanam or a forest retreat. It's a beautiful living a grihastha life, living a professional life, living a social life. How do I develop this non-attachment? No? Papa is showing here through, because here people are coming, 90% of the devotees belong to this category only, So to them he is giving the message through Anandashram. We can run an organization. As much as possible we try to give care and concern for those who are coming here. Everything is going on as usual like any other organization, but the burden of it is not felt because of the non-attachment. Nivritya ragasya griham tapovanam. One whose attachment has been conquered, his or her own home becomes a tapovanam. This is the final teaching that has come out of all this discussion by great minds. And Sri Krishna takes up all this and gives us this remarkable advice. We can have realization here and now. We need not seek for it in a faraway forest or anywhere in heaven, because the truth that we are seeking is already within us. Where should we run for getting it? It is here only. Iha, iha, iha. One person said, I want to be a scientist, I want to have a scientific mind. I will go here and there to get my scientific mind. What does that person mean by saying that he or she has to go here and there to get a scientific mind? Even here we can make our mind scientific. Search for the truth, discipline the mind, we can have it here. Why go here and there? It is like saying, I will go there to breathe oxygen. Why? Wherever we are, there is oxygen. We have to just breathe it. Similarly, it does not make sense to say, I will be spiritual there, why not here? That truth first came prominently from the Upanishads through the Gita. Here, here, and not there, there. And in this modern age, Sri Ramakrishna puts it, here, here. Here, here is jnana, there, there is ajnana. Just see the language. You can work either with selfishness or work with altruistic intention. A man like the late so-and-so from the Harvard University speaks for the need of a little altruistic impulse in modern civilization.
Already,
Tiruvallur. Saint Tiruvallur.
he says, use the word patru.
Bhakti.
Two senses. One is catchhold, the other is detachment.
என்ன தமிழ் என்னது?
Patru.
பற்றற்று, correct.
Attachment as well as catchhold. So he says the catchhold of the feet of one is totally detached.
Correct.
Feel a detachment.
Correct. பற்றற்ற தன்மை. That is. We are in the midst, but at the same time not attached. அது எப்படி இருந்தா தானே அதுக்கு நம்மாலே வந்து ட்ரை பண்ணி முடியறது இல்லையே. ஸோ வி ஹவ் டு சீக் ஹிஸ் இன்டர்வென்ஷன் by placing ourselves totally on him. That is what Papa does it, He passed through this test. He was attached. Then the non-attachment comes because he knows only that is abiding, standing always. The other one will rest, come and go. And that non-attachment got stabilized in him. And thereafterwards, no Vyavahara could touch him. It's a big organization, no? And 1954, when he was taken abroad, wherever he has gone, he was able to freely move with everybody. That also was not planned by him. Carefree. Normally, when we run an organization, how can we be carefree? அந்த பற்றற்ற தன்மை. Correct. We don't have to go anywhere. We have to think about this ashram. Then we will know how this non-attachment leads to a state where we can be in the midst of all vyavahar. When the new room was constructed for Puja Swamiji, there was a raised platform on two sides. It is still there. On one side, two sides. One was where Papa's and Mataji's photos were kept. So Swamiji, when he comes in at 5 o'clock in the morning to the room, we will be there. But before that, before we start our work, first he takes the agarbatti and waves it before Papa's and Mataji's photos. And then we sit. Hardly 6 months would have passed. One family came. They were as usual, our Bakshi family only, correct? Bakshi family. So the moment they saw Papa Mataji's photos, they asked Swamiji whether we can have photo like this. Swamiji immediately looked at us, pack it and give it to them. They said, no, Swamiji, not this photo. Okay, we can have that photo later. You know? So you can possess things but not be possessed by it. No? And then when we read out Papa's words, when something is given to us, you can retain it till somebody comes and claims it. You are only a trustee. So that means through this institution they are teaching us what is non-attachment while being in the midst of possessions. Please think over this. It is becoming clearer to us because we have been seeing this. What happened to Vittal Rao in 1920-21 period and what happened now after 1931 and after the ashram came into existence. Ashram is not keeping quiet just by providing food to everybody. So many activities silently it has been undertaken. Even now so many silent activities are going on. But minus the stressful factor. So whenever any stressful, seemingly stressful experience comes, immediately we should remember this. He must have some reason to make us to pass through and he has got his own ways of handling it. So we get a more clear picture of non-attachment in Vyavaharic life. It doesn't give a feeling that non-attachment means leaving everything and going. Very much in the midst of everything, but at the same time, not getting attached to anything. Is it becoming clear? We don't have to draw from anywhere else. How he is running, he has been running this ashram, no? Because in 1931 when he gave this inaugural speech, the last line, the Lord is our help and guide in all matters. It was not an ordinary sentence. Those who are involved in seva, those who are coming here, kindly go through and read that, no? If we can convert, if we can get stabilized in that, everybody can run their organization or house like Anandashram. The Lord is our help and guide. We would not have understood it so clearly like today. Hari Om, Hari Om. Kindly think over this. If you go to the inquest in the vision of God, where the portion comes about inauguration of Anandashram, you will find in that page this beautiful message on 15th May 1931. Go through it again and again and again, and you will find there lies the key for non-attachment and attachment. And we are seeing it, not tangible. 91, 92 years. So spiritual aspirants like us, we don't have to go anywhere for any reference material. It gives a complete picture of this non-attachment. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om to everybody. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Pranam, Pranam.